I think that's the hugest message that I would say.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. You just trust God.
Yeah.
He's going to get you through.
Hello there. You're listening to the Girl Talk podcast. My name is Carol.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Tricia.
Glad you're here. What do you wish you knew in your 20s?
There's like 14,000
yeah.
things.
How long do we have?
I know, right?
Can we go? Is there a DeLorean like parked outside where we can
nice.
hop in and go back to the future and tell our 20-year-olds some stuff?
Oh my goodness! Maybe you are in your 20s and you're listening. Hopefully there'll be a little bit of wisdom for you here today. And if you're not in your 20s, maybe you can giggle with us as we think about.
It's funny because I look back. I remember back to when I was in my 20s, and I remember asking people that were older than me questions. And
you've always been a good question
Kelly,
asker.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. This
All right.
story's not going in that
All right.
direction.
All
This
right.
one's not. This one's going off a cliff. Really.
All right.
So now I can look back when I'm in my 40s. I'm in my 40s.
Shut it.
And
Youngster.
yeah, baby of the group. And then I would have asked different questions.
What's she trying to
she
do?
did. Yeah, she
I
totally
can turn
just
your
called you
microphone
out.
That's
off.
right.
I know
She
you
can.
should probably.
And I can
So I would ask different questions now than I did back then.
Yeah.
But I asked somebody one time, like what eye cream they used. Because that was like the most important thing to me when I was 20 was you have no wrinkles. I want to know what eye cream you use so that I can use eye cream. And now I would ask totally different questions of the older people.
I don't know. I'd like to know about the
eye cream.
Becoming more important to me.
Do you ever wish you could go back and do your 20s over again? I don't either.
Not this girl.
No, me either.
No, that was a really uncomfortable time for me personally. It was a really difficult time.
Yeah.
I feel like
You're in New York, right? Is that
I
when
was
you were
in New
York?
York. Yeah, early 20s. I was in New York, I guess. And, right around that. And I was just not happy at all during that time frame. I didn't know who I was. I wasn't plugged in. I didn't know what to do. I did use eye cream, but that was about the only thing that was going right for me. And if I could go back to that girl in her 20s, I would tell her it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. That would be the message that I would want to know. It's going to be okay. God's got a plan. And I sure tried to mess it up every other way, but God saw me through every time, every mistake. So I think that's the hugest message that I would say.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. You just trust God.
Yeah.
He's going to get you through.
Yeah, I would go back and, for me in my 20s, that was when I had most of my dreams. Like this is what I want to be. This is what ambition, but also, for instance, one of my dreams was I always wanted to have this house full of kids. I didn't get that. That is a broken dream in my life. But I look back on my 20s and I remember those days of having those dreams and desires. And so I would tell her, keep dreaming, girlfriend, keep dreaming. And you're going to have some broken dreams in the future, but keep dreaming and keep asking God where he's going to send you, and seek God for the direction for your life. Because if you've created these dreams and you cling too tightly to those dreams without asking God what his plan is for your life, when those dreams become broken dreams, it's really hard to recover from the heartbreak of those broken dreams. So keep dreaming, but most importantly, seek God for where you are to go and where you're to take those dreams.
Are you still dreaming?
Ooh, not as much as I used to.
Why do you think that is?
Too many broken dreams. I only have one kid. I want a house full of kids.
Yeah.
I would love to have a house full of kids. That dream is, pierced in my heart oftentimes. Every time I see a young kid.
I have to say that God can accomplish that dream in different ways. And I'm curious
but he hasn't.
to see. He hasn't.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, my mind started rolling when you said that. And he can still accomplish it or not. But
yeah.
But Yeah, my heart
But that I don't
was
want that to I don't want to not. I wouldn't go back and tell her not to dream,
Right.
Because that's part of the beauty of life is
Yeah.
the dreaming and the wondering where God's going to take you and wanting to accomplish things and then trying to accomplish them.
But
working towards those dreams.
I will say that it doesn't end when you turn 50 or whatever age.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to. Dreams are still hopes and aspirations. I think you're right. Can still be fulfilled. We tend to have a time limit on our dreams, though.
and the way they'd be accomplished.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
But yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So anything else you would tell your 20-year-old self?
God's got a plan for your life.
That would be what I think that's the huge message.
Yes, God's got a plan, and it is a good plan. Whatever it is, it's a good plan. I love my life. I love where God has led me to. I don't want, broken dreams to get in the way of that. There's other things I would love too. But I love where God has taken me in my life. It's a great place. And so I want to celebrate that. So God, that's what I would tell her is God's got a great plan for you. Dream and know that some of those dreams are going to be broken, but know that God is still good and he still loves you and he still has a really good plan for your life, even if it involves lots and lots of broken dreams. He's still good and he's got a plan.
Did either of you imagine the life that you have now?
Not in a million years.
Yeah.
No.
No.
How about you?
No, absolutely not.
Well, what would you tell yourself?
I would tell my 20-year-old self that your heart's going to get broken, but you will live through it and find joy again. I think at my 20-year-old self, at that point, everybody was getting married and having children and all the things, and I was a late bloomer in that both of those categories. But I thought that being married and having kids was the end all be all. That was the end of my dream. And of course, when I went through my divorce, I just really struggled to find my place and my peace and joy again after that. And it was hard fought, but taught me so much. And I also would tell my 20-year-old self to not be afraid of struggle, because I think at that point in my life I'd never struggled with anything, and that some of the greatest treasures in life come through the struggle. Because I think we live our lives praying against struggle,
avoid struggle,
avoid hard times, avoid all the things, and
bad
those
feelings.
Comfort's the end goal.
Comfort. Right. And I think I was not surprised by it, but shocked maybe a little bit that such rich treasures come from struggling and that tension. I would have never kind of looked for struggle. I mean, I don't know if anybody wakes up in the morning and says, Lord, just give me a struggle
Give me
today.
a good old struggle.
Right, yeah.
It's been a while since I've had one. Just give me a good struggle so I can get to know you more. That's not ever what anybody prays, but it is true.
It is true.
I think I would also say to my 20-year-old self, stay in the Word.
Oh, yeah.
Stay in the Word. So much of I feel like 20 to 30, I guess, was such a roller coaster ride in my spiritual life. It was when it was good, it was good, and when it was bad, it was real bad. And so I would and part of that was neglect of the Word. And I feel like that would be another thing I would tell my 20-year-old self. We forget those lessons. As we were preparing for this, I was thinking about, some of us, it's been longer than others when we were 20 years old. And so to think back to that time, I was like, okay, let me think about what I was doing in life. And and I actually had a pretty cool experience this past weekend. We were out and about, and we ended up at a place right across the street from the first radio station I ever worked at.
Ooh,
that's fun.
And so we
Memory
took my
lane?
picture, at the door. They probably have us on security footage somewhere. They're looking for me, but we took a picture in front of there, and I was thinking back on like where I am now and where I was running.
Oh, wow.
So my first radio job was, this is totally an aside, but I was running Braves baseball games and NASCAR races. So once an hour, I turned on the microphone and said the call letters of the radio station. That was it, and turned the radio back up. That was the extent of my radio experience, right? And it was the only job I could find. And to think about that's where I started and where God has me today, and that was part of the plan, in there those years. It's just, it'll blow your mind. I knew we were going to record this podcast today, and I was thinking about that over the weekend, and it just has. I never would have taken this. You have a way that you think that things are going to go, and it totally is not. That's why I ask you guys, did you ever imagine the life you have now? You would think you can't get there from here, but God somehow does get you from point A to point B.
So true.
And I love the way He is. He's so kind and patient with us. Oh my goodness! Even when we fall off the face of the earth, and I had the opportunity to reconnect with people that I've known a long time, and they call it the wayward years. They were like, those were the years nobody knew where Carol was. She kind of fell off the face of the earth, and we joke about it now, but those were spiritually dark times in my life.
I had that season like that too, so I feel you.
Yeah. And I also would say, if you are a parent of a 20-year-old right now, I just want to encourage you, because I think all three of us could tell you stories of things that we're not proud of in our 20s that we did, or places that we found ourselves. And here we sit years later working full-time ministry. Yeah. And so don't stop praying for that 20-year-old or 20 however year old, and God's got a plan. I would just encourage you with that, because none of us would have imagined to be sitting around these microphones.
And part of what I wrote down actually to prepare for today was if I could go back, I would tell my younger self to be more intentional in the things that she does. Like, be more intentional in the questions that she asks, be more intentional in all these things.
Not eye cream.
Not eye cream. But I was just reflecting just now on how God really does have this plan, and He's directed us along this. And I could come up with all kinds of great plans, and I could be super intentional about the decisions that I make, and God's still gonna bring me back around. There's so much grace in that. There's so much that God loves us, and He's guiding us through all these things. And so it is, I can look back on it now and go, well, that was a hot mess of a direction, God, that you brought me from there to here. I would never have planned it. Like, I would never, there's no amount of intentionality that I could have had to have said, okay, I'm going to take this step, and I'm going to take this step and this step. I mean, even in my planner self, who I really like, ones and zeros and things going in the, right order. In right order. But God's just like, I'm a God of order. I'm not a God of chaos, but my order looks different than your order.
Right. Define order.
My ways are not your ways.
That's true.
Right. And thank God for that, because I would not have ended up here in this.
We could never have planned it.
We would never have planned this. So that's one of the other things to look back on that 20-year-old is to say, stop planning.
Yeah. There'll be some surprising twists and turns, and it's all going to be okay.
Yeah.
I would also say, choose friends wisely.
Yes.
Now, the reason this is on my mind is because I did sit down with my son going to college, 18, almost 19, not 20, but in 20s, but still moving into that period of life. Yeah. And what I said to him was, man, go get plugged into a church. Get some Bible-believing friends. You're going to need them. And you become who your friends are. If you want to know what you're going to look like, look at your friends kind of thing. And that's going to help you because really in your 20s, you're very influenceable.
Yes.
Is that a word?
Yes.
Can be
Yes.
now. Yeah. So being aware that you're plugging in with people who will draw you closer to Jesus and not farther away. And I told him, I said, I wish I could go back and make different choices. Not all my different choices, and God used them and all of those things. And, but you have the opportunity now to be intentional about the people that you spend your time with and the environment that you're creating where you're going to spend the next 4 years or beyond. And so just being aware of that, I would point that up to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what piece of wisdom do you feel like you could pass along to a younger generation? I say that kind of as a hypothetical situation because I think we always need to be looking for someone who's a little bit behind us that we can encourage along the way. And let me just say this. There's a difference between telling people what to do and encouraging people. I think a lot of people want to tell you what to do, like how to raise your kids and how to live your life and da-da-da. And none of us respond really well to that. But I will say that some of the most meaningful relationships that I've had have been people that are a little bit ahead of me, who have been able to, help me think through. And some of them have been just great women who've asked good questions. My mentor, she's so good. Sometimes it's, why did you do that? That's the question she most often asks me. And other times it's, think about that. Think why, what makes you feel that way, or what place are you coming from? It's not often a finger pointing kind of thing. It's often a put my arm around you and let's walk together through this thing because the Bible models that for us.
Yep, Titus 2.
The older women are to encourage the younger women, and there is so much that you have to give, so much that you have learned in your journey that you can share with somebody who's just a little bit behind you, whether you're 22 or 82. And so I say that, think about things that you've learned in life that you can share with the younger generation. Yeah. Have you all been blessed by those kind of relationships?
Oh, yeah. Relationships matter 150%. I mean, like that is the thing. If I could look back on all of it, the best advice, find a godly woman that you can look up to and ask her to be your friend. Ask her to be your mentor. Find godly girlfriends who will do life with you and point you to Jesus. Find a dude who loves Jesus more than he loves you. Not loves you more than he loves Jesus, but loves Jesus more than he loves you. And spend more time with God. And it's all about relationships. Every bit of it is relationship, and God will work out all of the rest of it.
What about you, TK? What wisdom would you pass along to somebody who's a little bit behind you?
Don't give up. I feel even in this conversation, I'm thinking, do I have a older, more mature Christian in my life?
June.
June Evans. Oh, but I don't get together with her.
Oh,
but
okay.
Sometimes I'll go to a
always
conference,
get together with my.
But I want that, and so. And there have been seasons when I have had those things. Yeah. So I guess just don't give up, and I'm not going to give up either. Let's just keep looking for the right thing and praying about that. Because I could use probably more of that.
And it may be a seasonal thing. When you're in the throes of raising young children, you may not have time for that. And when you get a little bit older, you may not need that. It may be something that you have just for a season. But there's always something that we can, whether you have kids or not, whether you're, like I said, 22 or 82, there's somebody just a little bit behind you that you can mentor, that you can help, that you can tell them what you've learned. It's not a I'm higher than you kind of situation, and I have to know all the answers and tell you exactly what the answer is. It's just, can I walk alongside you and put my arm around your shoulder and say, maybe you think about this,
And it's going to be okay.
Yeah, and it's going to be okay. Absolutely. Well, thank you for entertaining us while we took that trip down memory lane. I think it's over now, and we're all the ages that we are.
But I was just getting ready to ask you, ladies, since you're a little bit ahead of me, if you would be
She
my
did it again.
mentors.
She did it again. Rubbing the salt
We're gonna
in
end
it.
this
I'm going to give you an
podcast
eye
before
cream.
it gets
You want an
violent.
eye cream?
Yeah, we love you,
I
KB.
need some
That's
good, godly women who are ahead of me in life.
Well,
You're enjoying this way
she
too
is
much.
enjoying
I
it
am.
way too
I've
much.
had too much vacation. That's really the problem.
That's what the problem is. Well, we're going to end this.
you girls.
Yeah. We're going to end this podcast because some of us are getting older by the minute.
Yeah.
Right. And
We'd
I'm
love
getting
to hear
salty.
from you. That's exactly right. We'd love to hear from you, though. You can email us at girltalk@thelightfm.org. You can also check it on the Facebook pages. Even those of us who are older and elderly,
That's right.
we still
Put
check
on my
Facebook.
bifocals.
Oh, yeah,
That's exactly
Facebook's
right.
for old people.
Yeah,
I think
it is.
TikTok's for young people.
Well, I'm on that too. I'm going to go post on it.
And
You
Instagram,
post
I
on
think's
it.
for everybody.
What do you do with it?
Yeah, goodness
What you
gracious.
do,
This
I
has
know.
gone off the rails quickly. But get in touch with us. Let us know what you think. Let us know about the wisdom you'd pass along to somebody who's just a little bit behind you. And you know what? We're going to save you a seat next time we gather around these microphones for the next Girl Talk podcast. See you then.